Now that we're in the recap phase of Season 1, a lot of us have questions. Questions such as, are these the Ringwraith? Are these the first three of the Nazgûl? So these are the three witches that the Gandalf-like figure fought during the season finale of the Rings of Power. They showed up about midway through, came to the end. They thought he might be Sauron. They were confused. There was a fight, which, to be fair, was a pretty epic battle sequence in terms of visual effects. And of course, the Gandalf-like figure banished them with the line about "Back to the shadow from whence ye came," which is why everyone assumes he's Gandalf. And we got this reveal of their flesh being peeled back and revealing their spirit forms, which look like this. Which begs the question, since they look so similar to the way Peter Jackson portrayed his Ringwraiths in the Lord of the Rings films, are these the first of the Nazgûl? I don't know. We're going to be diving into that today. I'm Tim Anderson, aka Renfail, the bearded dwarven princess. And if this is your first time here, do me a few solid things. First, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. And support this channel. It's super simple. Drop a super thanks down below or join as a member of the Adventurers Guild over there. Like all of these people, I get to do this full time because of the support of the community. So just consider me another Netflix or a one off donation, whatever you can do. More at the end on other ways that you can support. In the meantime, we're going to go over here and we're actually going to dive into who the Nazgûl are a little bit because it's very interesting if you look at who they are as individuals because there's actually not a lot of confirmed information. So they may be taking this as a loophole, which they've done with many other things in season 1 of Rings of Power, and using this to create their own version of events. Because at this point, we understand that it's fan fiction, it's not actually holding true to the lore, but it's etc. The Nazgûl were known as the Nine Riders or Black Riders. Sauron's most terrible servants in Middle-earth. They were mortal men who had been turned into wraiths by their 9 rings of power. Now, I know some people are already saying that this can't be true because they're women, and even the poem itself, 9 rings for mortal men doomed to die, right? So people are making the assumption that these were men, but if we look at the actual terminology and the way it was written, it's capitalized men, which means the race of men, not necessarily men as in the sex of man. It's a very interesting distinction, but it is one worth noting because Tolkien was extremely anal retentive about the capitalization of words and went through many, many revisions during his lifespan because of incorrectly capitalized words in his books. So it's very important to pay attention to that. It says here that their origins were sometime during the Second Age. It says, during this time, Sauron gave 9 rings of power to 9 mortal men. It is said that 3 of the 9 were great lords of Númenórean race. The bearers of the rings gained great wealth and prestige and became mighty in their day as kings, sorcerers, and warriors of old. Now, what's interesting here, it says, known as the Nazgûl, they first appeared around Second Age, 2251, and were soon established as Sauron's principal servants. However, the circumstances of this appearance are not recorded, nor are their actions during the Dark Years or during Sauron's capture to Númenor. What's very interesting here is we have a lot of established timelines for when they were active and when they first appeared, so on and so forth. The most important is that it appears that the Ringwraiths were technically not created, so to speak, until they were given the 9 rings. And we haven't actually seen the 9 rings forged during the show. Now, that was one of the big upsets at the end of the 8th episode, was the fact that they seemed to have forged the 3 rings the 3 rings for the elves before they forged any of the other rings. And those of you who know the actual lore of the books, those rings were forged in secret at the end, as I remember. It's been a while since I've read the Silmarillion and so on and so forth, so I'm a little rusty on that. People who know more can confirm down below. So in the timeline of this, if they were Ringwraiths after they were given the rings, has Sauron already crafted the rings? Do these 3 already have rings? Or is this another case of the Rings of Power showrunners playing fast and loose with the lore, saying that these creatures are simply because of their very nature, their adhesion to the dark arts, and their belief in Sauron and their devotion to Sauron, they are already leaning towards that dark side, that Ringwraith like lifestyle of being a Nazgul, even though there might not be any rings involved. I don't know. I can't speak to anything that Rings of Power is doing because, of course, as we know, they've thrown out the timelines. So this here is saying that they first appeared in Second Age 2251. What happened during 2251 that is linked here? Is the year of the sun of the Second Age. It says notable events in this year include after 30 years of Tar Ankalamon's reign, the rift between the king's men and the faithful becomes wider. The nine first appeared. So it's just a random note here that's when they first appeared. So there doesn't appear to be a ton of stuff that actually happens during this year. It does say that the bearers of the rings gained great wealth and prestige and became mighty in their days, kings and sorcerers and warriors of old. Now, we don't see these three priestesses being anything of that sort. We don't see them being wealthy and having prestige. We just see three sorceresses. Now, this very well could be what they are considering to be the first three, in the sense that they have great power and they're devoted to Sauron. And we don't know that they were actually destroyed by this Gandalf-like character, because his butterfly moth effects, or whatever it was, appeared to have banished them. But it remains to be seen whether or not they were actually killed, or if he just stripped away their physical forms. Because if they are powerful enough sorcerers, then Sauron may have taught them enough to have already obtained spiritual forms. I'm reaching in the dark here, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm trying to come up with reasoning for why the characters in the show had the look of Ringwraiths or Nazgûl in their otherworldly form. It could have been something that was absolutely sheer coincidence. It could be that they just decided to make these characters look like creepy skeletons as they were being killed, because that's what they wanted to go with, was creepy skeletons. But because so many other things have been done with the lore, folks like myself are making the assumption that, Nazgûl, like literally it's that Leonardo DiCaprio moment from the Hollywood film that Quentin Tarantino did, that meme where he sits up and he's like, oh. It's that kind of moment where we're looking at that going, that's got to mean something. Now, it could mean nothing, but it is worth noting that the theory is going around right now. The appearance is mostly during the Third Age. It says here their identities. This is the most important part. Only a few of the Nazgûl are named or identified individual. Their leader was the Witch King of Angmar, and his second in command was named Khamûl. Khamûl was a lord of Easterlings and was the only Nazgûl known by his name. Three of them were Númenóreans. So we have some confirmations of a few facts, one of which is the Witch King is going to be a male. His second in command is named Khamûl, and Khamûl is, I've never read up on this character. He was his lieutenant at Dol Guldur. It is possible he was an Easterling. Okay, he was one of the 9 men, so he's probably a male. So we have 2 who are confirmed to be male, and that's the only 2 that we know of that were confirmed to be actual male from the race of men. The rest could be female. We just don't know. I don't know. Thoughts and rumors abound, but as we are continuing to see what's coming down the road towards Season 2, folks like myself are questioning how much more they're going to twist the lore to their own purposes and convert things to their own weird fan fiction. I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments below. This is the part of the video where I say like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, support like all of these amazing people. Super simple, like I talked about at the beginning of the video. Drop a super chat or a sticker on premieres and live streams like here. You can also do a super thanks, and of course, join as a member of the Adventurers Guild. We have 3 tiers of membership. There is also a Patreon page where I'm building a fantastical world with my wife and my brother. And of course, if you catch me in a live stream, there are ways to support there as well. So hopefully we'll see you around beyond this episode. So until next time, love to hear your thoughts and comments below. If you have other things you'd like me to cover about the Rings of Power, just let me know. I'm happy to dive into topics based on the request of you, the fans. Until next time, everybody, happy watching and reading and beyond.